everyone, and welcome to the episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. So my colleagues and I are going to be continuing with our comedy series with a discussion of the 1992 comedy/child drama, My Cousin Vinny. And as always, spoilers will abound. You've been warned. So,
For a 30-year-old...
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. If you're, if you've been interested in watching My Cousin Vinny, I don't know what spoilers are going to do for you.
Haven't gotten around to it yet.
No,
Do you think he's going to lose at the end?
I just like to...
They're going to kill the
give
kids?
those warnings.
What a twist it would have been.
All right, so...
Much darker ending.
That would have been nice. So for those who aren't familiar with My Cousin Vinny, the basic premise is...
I actually have a cousin, Vinny.
Oh,
do?
I do too. My dad has a cousin named Vinny, and I think ever since this movie has come out, he introduces himself to literally everyone as Cousin Vinny.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Is he a lawyer?
No, he was a corrections officer.
Close.
So
Who?
he,
Vinny?
yeah. And so after he retired, he would always bust out the line, I just got out of prison after 25 years.
Oh
So,
my god.
That's great.
Respect.
So, the basic premise is Billy and Stan are two college students going on a road trip.
Ralph Macchio plays one of them.
Yeah, and they go to this convenience store. They load up on much-needed groceries. And then shortly after they leave, the grocery store clerk is murdered. They get pegged as the suspects because they resemble two boys in a similar vehicle that eyewitnesses saw. And it's this craziness that ensues. There's a pretty funny moment when Billy thinks the reason why he's been arrested because he shoplifted a can of tuna. And it just goes back and forth between the misunderstandings until he eventually figures out, no, it's not the tuna.
Can we start there?
This is why we
Sure.
don't talk.
Katie, you are... you and me have always been like this.
Yeah.
Don't talk to the police, kids.
Yeah.
Wait until there's a lawyer present.
And also make sure if they are asking questions, you know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is your right...
Because he thinks they got him on stealing, versus he's like, oh, it's a confession. And it's like,
Exactly.
no.
It is
But always
your
wait for a lawyer.
right to have a lawyer present. Just...
That's your PSA?
It is the
Yeah.
most...
It's the most important PSA.
It
You
is
should
the most
always
horrifying
say,
scene.
I need a
remember
lawyer.
your Miranda rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's part of the Miranda rights. If your Miranda rights aren't read to you, you can get the cops for that.
Well, I was talking with
As a
a
boyfriend who is
detective
a
for a
lawyer.
non-crime related thing, and I was in a room with him, and I just felt so intimidated. I was like, oh my god. I mean, I knew what he was going to ask and everything, but it was very intimidating. But yeah, it is a series of misunderstandings because, like I said,
They have him on recording saying, I shot the clerk. Twice. I shot the clerk.
well,
Because you
I kind of thought though that would have been brought up because if you hear the recording, you can say he's not confessing. It's more like, what did you just say?
They don't know how these slick New Yorkers talk.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that was very entertaining to watch. Where it's I kept on waiting for someone to say, is someone going to say it's a murder charge? You're just going back and forth, and then the disbelief. So Billy calls his mom, and mom isn't too happy that her son's been accused of murder.
Typical Italian mother probably starts crying immediately.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
saying the rosary, screaming at him.
They don't let you hear any of the audio.
No.
on the
But
phone,
you
but
know.
you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Screaming. And then she happens to tell Billy, you have a cousin who's a lawyer. Enter Cousin Vinny and his girlfriend, Mona Lisa.
Which we have. Can I just say that it's, I think, one of the best roles that Marissa Tomei has been in that I've seen. It's great.
Yeah.
Her character is great.
And
Joe
she-
Pesci's child girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or was she 27 and he was 50?
Was she even 27?
Yeah.
But they work well.
Just
together.
adding context, adding layers to the script.
Yes, yeah. But they do work well together, and thank God Mona Lisa's there, because Vinny is obviously, he has really very little idea of the culture of courtroom or courtroom politics. I loved the back and forth with the judge. He's just like, are you wearing that? And he goes, yeah.
She doesn't know courtroom etiquette. She watches TV.
And she
That's how
read.
you
And
learn.
that's not entirely true. The
But-
show, as Brian said, when he was going through law school and everything, and now that he is an attorney. The show that gets it the closest to what it's actually like in the courtroom is the original Law and Order series. Not SVU, not any of that. Law and Order actually does a really
SVU
good
doesn't
job.
really show the courtroom
No, it
stuff.
shows the cops.
Yeah.
And that's it, and the detectives. It doesn't show, but Law and Order actually was like the closest.
OG Law and Order kind of goes hard.
Yeah.
I heard Joe mention that this movie is actually pretty accurate as far as courtroom stuff goes, though, right? Like closer than a lot of stuff.
I mean, I
Like, it's
think
not-
that him being reprimanded for a lot of stuff, yes. He comes in, he sits on the table. First off, why would you do that? You're supposed to have your notes ready to go, but he comes in, sits on it in a leather jacket, and he does put him in contempt because he's like, you can't mouth off to the judge.
Yeah.
So the
Has
way
Brian seen this movie?
Yes, he showed it to me actually.
Could
He
he-
forced me to watch this
Could
movie.
he record like a 5-second thing?
Yeah,
and, like,
can we get him to
Yeah.
call in right now?
Yeah.
He's actually at work right now, so I cannot.
just give us like a little like
That would be cool if he could give his like
what
opinion.
he thinks of the.
And you
I can-
can't just call surprise witnesses to the stand or surprise experts, right? You're like,
You can't really do that. You have to, because as they show you, like, you know, the burden of proof and stuff, like, or like, what is it? They
The
have to share
discovery.
all information
Yeah.
with each other. A surprise witness can't really fully happen without a good reason.
Right.
You have to have a list of witnesses and stuff like that. If someone doesn't show, womp womp. But at the same time, like, there's no surprise witness. You can't
Well,
just grab her out of the crowd. And also, she's related to him, so she would never be allowed to go on the stand.
That's what I thought too. Like I was surprised.
That's why
not-
I'll never
not
get
sur-
jury duty, and I'm upset about it.
Well, you can take mine.
Are
like,
you
if I ever get
excited
you
for
to-
jury duty?
I finally
Jury
got
duty's not
called.
fun.
I wanted to get a really cool case, and it sounded like the case I was getting was gonna be really cool. Got attempted murder, and I was like, oh, I want to hear this. But like, I got
have,
in
like,
there. I wanted to know.
I have
Did
rehearsed
you-
excuses to get out of jury
I heard
duty.
so
I've
many
thought
ex-
about
a
it. Like, all
woman
right, what can
stood
I
up-
say to alienate me?
A woman stood up, and she was just like, they told us like what the case was about, and she was like, so about a year ago, my husband got stabbed and murdered. She's like, so I don't think I can do this.
Yeah,
I was
just
like,
like,
whoa!
grab
She was like
popcorn.
the last person. She waited, and that was the last one to go. And she was like, actually, I don't think I can judge fairly because I was like, a lot of people were like, I'm gonna miss my daughter's graduation. And I was like, they're like, okay, go away. But they were like, I got to the questioning part where they were questioning you, and they're like, do any of you guys know anybody who works in like law enforcement or anything? I was like,
Yeah.
and they're
I
like,
did
who do
too.
you know? And I was like, blank, blank at blank, blank. And I'm like, actually across the street from here. And they were just like,
Done.
Get out of here.
pretty much, I got in my chair. I felt like, ooh, jury time. Also the money. You get paid for like just sitting there and listening. I wanted to hear the story. I heard
$7
paid
an hour.
well.
I
I
wouldn't
heard
say it's
jury
getting
duty-
paid.
I heard jury duty can sometimes be worth it if you get a really interesting case. And I was like, oh, this guy's got attempted murder. I want to know. No, they cut me out.
When I was actually selected for jury duty once. It was the most boring 2 weeks of my life.
I did catch up on a book.
But it was 2 weeks because the people. It was like a contractor. I don't think you're really supposed to talk about it, but
You can talk about
You
it after
can't
it's
talk about
over.
the case.
you can.
You
Alright.
can't talk about like the names of the people in the
Oh,
case.
I don't even remember the
Yeah.
name, so that's perfect. But they, the people that were doing the suing were lawyers. So they were like,
Oh, so they were.
they brought everything. It was the longest 2 weeks of my life. The bailiff one day was actually like, just make sure you don't nod off out there, because I guess I had.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
I listened
How are
to
you?
a
s-
guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
it's terrible.
it's one of those systems that I feel like maybe needs some fine tuning.
But it's also really easy just to get out. Like I watched people in the first part where they're like, where you just kind of sit there in the beginning and they're just like, okay, if you have a reason not to come on up, stuff like that. I really enjoyed the police officer's energy. And the announcer's energy. He was great. He was like, we have 3 movies to show you. They are not critically acclaimed, but and I was like, wow, this guy's great. He's been here a while. He made it very entertaining. So if you ever go to the Queens County District, it's great.
I'll give him a shout out.
Shout out to
Yo.
that guy. He made the experience worth
Where's
it.
Vinny from?
And my
Brooklyn.
cop was great.
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn.
not
Yeah.
Queens.
No.
Queens is superior.
The
yeah.
cop I had
My
was like, really
family's
friendly.
from the Bronx mainly, but like
Brooklyn's
they,
superior.
They talk like him. Like this movie's very well studied.
I have a
on-
friend that
on
talks exactly
a
like
special
Vinny.
breed of New York guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Even just like him wearing a Yankee shirt to bed, I was like,
She
hey, I know that.
The owl scene is still the funniest moment of this whole movie.
Great.
And it's quite, even as dated and like borderline inappropriate some of the humor is in this movie, that owl scene is wonderful.
I would take the owl cooing at any time versus
That's
the
more
sounds
like a
he
scream.
falls.
Really,
It's
my
fine.
my only problem with
that.
the movie, and it's not even really a problem, is the soundtrack is god awful.
Yeah.
It's like
But that's just most movies, most comedies from this era. It's just like that very overproduced '80s rock going on.
It's like
we were-
92 and we're still
Exactly.
using it.
Yeah, it's like-
we were kind of talking about that, and Katie actually pointed out, she was like, "Yeah, this came out after Home Alone because we were talking about Joe Pesci's career."
It takes
And
place
I-
in 91.
And I was like, "What?" Like in my mind, this is a '80s movie, but Home Alone is like a
It
'90s
kind
movie.
of has this like the vibe of a lot of '80s comedies,
Yeah.
where like, you know, a lot of it's not like cackling funny, but you're smiling the whole way through, and you're just you're letting out chuckles. It's such a pleasant movie.
Yeah.
I love the whole like back and forth with the pool game and the $200.
Yeah.
Is that
Catch you
that's not
200.
sea bass, is it?
I don't think so.
That's not sea bass from Dumb and Dumber.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
can find out.
Yeah, let's look it up.
I saw the judge in this, and I was like, damn, this guy kind of looks like Frankenstein.
It's Herman
Yeah,
Munster.
yeah, and then I realized, I was like, oh, that's why he looks like Frankenstein.
The guy's name. Do we know what the guy's name was who was at the pool table?
No.
I can't remember his name.
I don't think he had a name. I think he was just.
But in
Guy.
Dumb and Dumber,
Guy,
there's
yeah,
a character
pool
named
table.
Seabass, and
I
I'm
loved.
looking it up,
I loved
yeah.
how when he first comes with like the $200, he goes, "Are you sure it's $200? It's not a 20 wrapped in front of a whole bunch of singles."
and God, Joe Pesci could like deliver an Italian gangster line better than anyone, better than De Niro.
Yeah.
And it's like, what if I would have kicked the ever out of you? Just
No, he was not.
That's
in
not
my-
Seabass?
No.
just styled similarly, I suppose.
God, I love Pesci.
Yeah.
Just, what a great performer.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny, like where Simona picks My Cousin Vinny. I haven't thought about Joe Pesci since The Irishman, and then
Oh, he was in.
and then like I'm like scrolling through Instagram or whatever, and one of the reels of Pete Davidson comes up,
Yep.
and
Hey, awesome in that.
yeah, and Joe Pesci's in a TV show now with Pete Davidson, and I guess how that happened
Bupkis.
was, yeah, Bupkis was Pete Davidson was like, we need somebody to play this part, and Lorne Michaels was like, oh, what do you think of Joe Pesci? And Pete Davidson was like, the guy that doesn't act anymore, that you can't get to do anything, and Lorne Michaels is like, I'll ask him. For the right role, any actor will do it. Apparently, so Lorne Michaels like got Joe Pesci to come and do Bupkis with Pete Davidson somehow.
And from everything I hear, he's lovely in that too.
Oh yeah.
But also, I think Joe Pesci lives. He's a New Yorker. He lives
Yeah.
in New York, right? So I don't think it's not too far of a commute for him to.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't want to travel out to Los Angeles anymore. I think he wants to stay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's 80, and his wife Marissa Tomei is 58 now. So, you know, they don't want. They're tired.
Yeah.
They don't want to travel, being the same age.
Marissa Tomei now. My goodness,
It's
she
awesome.
aged well.
It's awesome that Marissa Tomei in the 90s dated Joe Pesci and George Costanza.
She actually dated Joe.
No, I
In
was
the-
just joking.
in the-
Yeah.
Pesci? Did she date George Costanza?
In the
In the show.
Seinfeld, yeah. In the Seinfeld
different
canon.
colored
And she was Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci.
In-
Oh, really?
Apparently, he's got different colored eyes.
Oh. What color?
I don't know. It
I
just
mean,
says
she's
different
immune to
colored
the zombie virus, and 28 weeks later,
That's true.
eyes. Keep him alive.
he's safe.
Cryo
Joe
time.
Pesci safe at all costs.
Keep him in cryo.
So, I kind of told everyone about this before we started recording, but this film did inspire Joe Pesci 6 years later to cut an album called Vincent LaGuardia Gambini Sings Just For You. and I highly recommend looking out for this one. It's all on YouTube. You can find it. It's on Spotify, every major music streaming service.
It is. I can confirm. I did Google it after.
He actually was a lounge singer before he was an actor, so I guess he's going back to his roots.
Interesting.
And
I see him being a lounge singer.
Let me tell you, he raps on it. You'll never forget it.
I think I saw a clip of this on like a Last Week Tonight episode at some point. This was in 2000?
1998, I think.
You said it was 6 years after the movie?
This was 94? I thought this was 92
92.
for some reason.
This movie came out in 92.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
So, yeah.
The things you learn. What
Yeah, I
was
had no idea until
what
Joe
was
mentioned
Joe
it.
Pesci
I thought he was
thinking?
joking.
He recorded an album as a child called Little Joe Sure Can Sing. And he actually just released an album in 2019 called Still Singing. So
Still alive.
Man.
it's a rich discography. Highly recommend it.
There was so much praise heaped on him for his performance in The Irishman. And I don't by any means think he gave a poor performance in The Irishman, but I felt like he gave a non-performance in The Irishman. He was like ice cold and sunglasses the whole time, and he was completely deadpan.
I don't know. Russell's weird in that movie. Like, I don't know. Like, I think even if it's just the scene at the end when he's like, the good grape juice. Like, I don't know. That alone ruins me.
Well, we're talking about Joe Pesci in that movie?
Yeah.
His name's Russell?
Yeah.
Oh,
Russell
well.
Bufalino.
You always know so much about the stuff.
I
So-
love The Irishman.
Yeah. I don't know, I gotta give it another go. I was not enamored with it when I first
It
saw it.
is. Look, the key is you have to realize that Robert De Niro's character is just a stuttering mess. He's a total cipher of a human being. There's nothing charming about him,
Yeah.
but he just does his job.
And he can't fight for
And you just gotta get past the
Oh, he died.
The
what's it called?
de-aging?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
The judge.
Just gotta get past that. Once you get past
He
that,
died
for me,
in 93.
once I got past that, I was into it.
The guy who played the judge died a year later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
Munster?
actually a guy that was
I don't know
talking
him
about.
as Munster. I know him as the old guy from Pet Sematary who's like, sometimes
Yeah.
dead is better.
Oh,
He's the old guy who gets his like
Yeah.
Achilles tendon
Yeah.
slashed by
I
Gage.
believe he was like a Shakespearean actor too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I actually looked
You always
him
know they're
up
good actors
after
when they go
watching
Shakespeare.
My Cousin Vinny on TV, and my mom remembers him on TV as like in this. I don't remember if it was like a sitcom. It probably was like a police sitcom
Oh.
from like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it.
No, I
That
don't.
is
I don't.
I know it. I know it.
so,
It's just because
We
when I
can't trust you
googled him,
now.
when I googled him, I saw the picture of it.
Yeah.
Car 54, where are you?
That's,
that's
it.
it, yeah.
Yeah. And like it was one of the first roles he got on TV before he became Herman Munster.
With arsenic and old lace.
My man was 6'6".
Yes, he was.
Big man.
I mean, he's like perfect for the Boris Karloff role.
Like in Pet Sematary, he's like super. Even though he's not supposed to be a menacing character, he's just like the old guy who foreshadows everything. He's
Yeah.
like, "Don't go to the pet cemetery."
He's also got that
Don't."
voice, you know?
Yeah, no, he's like, as I said, that's sometimes dead is better. Is like when I saw him in the movie. This is my like second go watching the movie. I was like, because after like everybody owes you always just shows you the one scene from the movie, which is like the ending.
Yeah.
And that's it. Is when she's like going down the deep hole of like car stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a great.
First
scene.
off, also the movie does a couple leading questions, and they're not allowed to do that either.
Objection.
He's not supposed to lead the witness into like saying like,
Right, but if the other guy doesn't object,
yeah, I know that's stupid. He's
bad
not supposed to do
lawyership
that.
over there.
Bad lawyer. It's Alabama.
And I think
Sorry, Alabama. This was 91, 92 Alabama. Sorry.
the fish out of water thing didn't work for me, only because when you're the fish out of water, you should kind of be the idiot.
I was just
And
saying, yeah.
we're just, I mean, granted, I've been to Alabama twice. Like,
He's also
it doesn't necessarily not check out, but you don't really like do this to.
Also, we established
a whole
that
group of
Vinny
people.
Vinny's not a real lawyer, right?
no, I
No,
thought
he
he
is.
is. He's an injury lawyer.
Yeah, but
From New
he-
York, though, he would never be allowed to
Yeah,
go all the
that's
way to
true,
Alabama
right?
because you
You
would
don't
have to
have-
learn a whole state's new law
Yeah, you
system.
know, you don't have. He probably doesn't have a license to
We've
practice.
talked
in other
about that
states.
occasionally. Where my
Oh,
mom
okay.
has been like, you know, you guys could always move back to North Carolina, And Brian's like, I'd have to like take like the tests there and learn a whole new set of laws and everything. It's really rough if you are a lawyer who, like, he's New York, New Jersey, but he practices in New York. You can do a dual like license, but it's really hard to maintain because you have to do 2 different requirements for everything. I don't know about the 90s, but like as of like right now, it's like you can't just go to another state and be like, yeah, I'm representing this guy with no idea. But then again, he lied. Very bad lookup system. Also, if you go online, you be like, okay, registered attorneys. You can just find their number and everything. It's like, are
there
they
was no
registered? Do they
online.
have
Well,
their
actually,
no?
not to bring it to the modern day, but that does check out more now than it did 30 years ago because we just found out the Supreme Court made a ruling a couple Fridays ago where we found out that the story it was based on was total nonsense and the person didn't exist in the same way or ever say the things that they claimed. And we have recently. So they don't do vetting the way they should. And that's a plot hole in My Cousin Vinny. But actually we're finding out that's true.
So I don't think it's often out there, but I wouldn't doubt that somebody out there has
Done
a
it?
couple people done it. Tried to get away with it.
We very narrowly avoided this being a very bad movie.
Really?
You know who was originally going to play Vinny?
Who?
Andrew Dice Clay, the Dice Man himself.
Who was
What did he
excellent in Blue Jasmine.
What
So
did
there is-
Yeah, okay, but that's
and excellent as Lady Gaga's
post
dad.
Dice Man. Okay, this is when he was still Hickory Dickory Dock.
Ford
Man.
Fairlane.
You know, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't know
he's
who
a
this guy is.
terrible
I don't know, like, what
stand-up
is this?
comic from the 80s.
Oh, is he in the Star
His
Wars
gimmick
Born?
was he wore wet leather and said homophobic and misogynistic things.
Oh no.
Yeah. And he would do dirty nursery rhymes.
Little Boy Blue. Look it up.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Recently, he's had like a resurgence as like a character.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, I'm glad he wasn't Vinny.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
That would have been a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also considered Danny DeVito, which works.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I would
actually.
have been dope.
Peter Falk, I think that would have worked.
Who's
Yeah.
Peter Falk?
Columbo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the grandfather from Princess Bride.
He didn't
Thank
chicken
you.
Oh,
soup for
nice.
this whole-
Yeah.
De Niro and Jim Belushi.
I'm glad they didn't use De Niro.
Yeah.
Jim Belushi is fantastic, though. That would have worked.
That would have been good.
Jim Belushi, look, his show was the worst thing, but like, when he's in movies, I like him.
And he's just a weed farmer now, right? He's like
Yeah,
the
that's his
happiest he's
life
ever been in
now.
his life. Simona, like 15 minutes ago, you were about to make a point,
Oh,
and this derailed completely. I blame Amanda, but we also now are partly to blame.
no, I was just going, since you were talking about his performance in The Irishman, there was a guy that was reviewing forms of acting that are often kind of overlooked, like the more subtler forms where the emotions aren't as grandiose, but like the subtleness, like and he was talking about Joe Pesci's performance in The Irishman, and this like the scene when he's doing something in the kitchen and he's talking to De Niro's character, and he said like the way his tone is, like he did a much better job of explaining why he thinks that performance is sort of very subtle but so well done. Because since you mentioned that you thought he was kind of like me, that's why I brought that up.
And I'm willing to believe 100% that I got it wrong my first viewing. It's not the first time I've done that. Like some of my favorite movies, I didn't like them the first time I saw them. Like The Martian, Steve Jobs. I was just like, these are boring. What's the point of this?
Steve Jobs is maybe one that could potentially be on that list for me. I got to rewatch Steve Jobs.
Yeah. But then giving it another go and realizing I was the problem, not the movie. That's,
I'm the problem.
Not a Taylor Swift song.
was
yeah,
it?
anti-hero.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Is that about Jake Gyllenhaal?
No.
Oh. That should have been.
Well, the one about Jake Gyllenhaal is what? All Too Well? Is that it?
I don't know that I know
That's
that.
what I mean. He knows all this stuff.
She
Amazing.
dated Jake?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no clue about her love life. Yeah. Oh, okay.
The one about Harry Styles is funny because it references like a snowmobile accident.
Did he have a snowmobile accident?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. What song is about him?
Out of the Woods. It's a good song.
I like that
The
song.
Bob, yeah.
I don't know if I know that.
But yeah, no, Susanna told me, she was like, yeah, no, this is about Harry Styles and when he got into a snowmobile.
Oh yeah, no, we've been me and a coworker down by the front have been like talking about that for a while.
Harry Styles and his snowmobile accident?
It's a book. There's a book. It's a fan fiction that they're turning into a like. Is it like a Netflix show or movie?
What?
Are you kidding me?
Wait, there's a lot I'm learning about
On
a
a
snowmobile.
snowmobile accident?
I don't know if it has to do with a snowmobile
Oh, no,
accident, but there's
snowboarding
like
accident. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a fan fiction. It's like a.
Bless you.
Oh,
Bless
no.
you. Thank you.
Okay, the
Snowmobile
Taylor
accident.
Swift one is a snowmobile.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Since we're on the topic,
Movie. There it
I
is.
would like to know personally why
The Idea of You. That's what it is.
this was the movie you picked.
She
It's-
loves Joe Pesci.
What is it about? Is it the Italian
No,
New York
I'm-
thing? Is
No,
it-
I'm going.
They talk about it.
I'm going to sort of disappoint you tremendously. Here's why. So
Make
If
something
you're
up that's
answering
fun.
my question, you wouldn't be disappointing me at all.
no, because like
Like,
your
just-
build up to the question makes it seem so grand. Like I had a plan. There was no plan. My original pick
Sorry.
was no longer.
Got a hiccup.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
My original pick was no longer on Canopy, so I had to race to find something that was also
But
in
what
the.
made you land on this? What called out to you about it?
Well, because I've
What was
seen.
your childhood like?
Tell me about your mother.
That's it. I'm getting my cards out.
You can if you want.
We're gonna
No.
deep dive Simona right now.
That should be fun. No, because I've seen clips of it, and I enjoyed.
This was
the
your
cl-
first time seeing it?
Yeah, it's the first time
wow.
seeing it. Yeah.
Oh, yay!
And what did you think?
That's like the most fun experience.
Yeah, this is different now because I thought you wanted us to all watch this movie because it mattered to you, but
See, that's why I said you're gonna be disappointed.
no, this is
No,
more
it-
interesting.
Yeah, it
I love
actually-
doing it. I love when it's like that's what I do. I
This
like
is
to
a
pick movies
switch
I
up.
haven't seen.
Like,
What did you think? Because you know we've been basically spinning this all left and right, and now I need to know.
No,
your opinion
I
of
enjoyed
your
it.
pick.
I enjoyed it a great deal because I've always. I mean, this film is. I mean, I don't know how popular it is, but it's definitely a
Yeah,
part of
pretty
like
popular.
the American culture. And I was
Pop culture,
looking
for
at
sure.
clips, especially the scene where Marissa Tomei is talking about my biological clock is ticking.
She was 27.
Yeah.
She lied. She was fine.
So, and the only thing I've really seen Marissa Tomei in is oh God, it's like a love story.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
No, it's
Mr. Deeds?
no.
Spider-Man:
it's
Far From Home?
Untamed Heart.
Christian Slater.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker.
Yeah. And now
I was so in love with that version of her in that movie.
I love
my
it.
dream
It's
girl.
like, do things make a whole lot of sense? No. Would his behavior to a normal woman outside of a film be endearing? No, to some extent.
Why? How does he treat her?
He
Because-
saves her life.
Well, no, Ben's. I'm gonna clarify.
And that's
He
not
he lets her make
No.
all the choices herself.
No,
He,
Ben.
That's
um,
not endearing?
Ben, stop it. No, okay, fine. I'm gonna clarify. First of all, he kind of stalks her. Like he basically takes it upon himself to be her guardian angel. She's not really aware of his existence outside of he's the guy that cleans the dishes.
Admirable.
Will you let me finish?
He imprints on her like Jacob in Twilight.
Yes, I'm not. Listen, I'm not.
God.
Here, okay, here's an example. Okay, so she talks about how when she was younger, she had a real Christmas tree, and she talks about the smell of the pine and how it evokes winter, but now it's just an artificial tree. The next day, she wakes up to a full-on tree in her room, decorated. So you realize the dude full-on
Okay.
entered her
He
bedroom.
Chung King expresses her.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So-
romance.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. So,
So I'm just saying, Edward Cullen would watch Bella
No.
sleep, and we didn't mind.
No. I will clarify. Edward Cullen. That's why we gotta watch Twilight, and I don't give a if you guys don't want to do it. We're going to watch it, and we're gonna discuss how problematic it is. No, I love the film. I love Untamed Heart. I'm just.
Heart.
Yeah. Simona, one of my favorite movies is Chungking Express, where a woman does that to a guy. She keeps breaking into his house and replacing his things, and like.
So I'm just
So,
saying, like, out.
I get you know,
Yeah.
sometimes movies is not life.
Exactly. So, like, outside of the world that the film has created, where this guy is mentally stable, doing somewhat creepy ass things, I'm just saying, if I woke up and the next day I realized some guy had crept into my bedroom and put a Christmas tree, like, anyway. So, it's one of my favorite films. So anyway, so
You also
that's...
introduced me to Suzanne Vega.
Oh.
That song.
Oh, yes.
It opens
yes,
the-
Yeah. So anyway, so I've seen clips of My Cousin Vinny. I was like, okay, this is funny. And there was also a lot of availability in the system. I was like, we're going to go with this one. And it also would be my first time watching it. So I would have like a sort of genuine reaction to what's going on.
Is your tearjerker movie going to be Untamed Heart now?
Should it be?
It's a really good 90s film.
I mean, I love it. Like, I know a lot of people, like, they talk about how it's problematic or whatever. I mean, me personally, I see it almost as a fairy tale kind of...
Yeah.
There's a fairy tale feel to it. But it is something that is very touching, and it's heartbreaking. The ending is very heartbreaking, but no, I have...
I mean...
See, but now you make me want to change it.
What's your
what
your
is it
time
now?
to cry?
Plenty of time.
I was gonna make you guys watch the, this is gonna sound so kiddish, the 70s animated version of The Little Mermaid, which is closer to the original.
Right, I do remember that being on the dock.
The 70s?
It's
was
an
me-
anime.
It's an animated, it's closer to the original Hans Christian Andersen tale.
Bubble? We watched that last year.
I told you Bubble
Top
will be the thing
notch.
that takes over. Oh, give it a rest! We're gonna
We've
rewatch
cured
it.
the situation.
That's it.
I
Bubble's gonna
loved-
be the time to cry episode. We're
Bubble
gonna watch
was-
Can't
Bubble again.
rewatch something.
Bubble was
will.
excellent. I loved Bubble.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had this debate. We had this
Okay.
discourse already.
Top Caffeinated Librarians episode for sure. The discussion about Bubble.
Yeah, we need movies where we don't agree.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of, because it's closer to the original Hans Christian Andersen story, and it's like, so that's what I'm thinking of, and it's available on YouTube, so everyone can get it. But yeah,
Is it part of our world?
no, it's
I gotta say, Marissa Tomei
Yeah, she's
should be in better movies.
Yeah.
In the 2000s are rough for her. She was
Let's hear
in
it.
Wild Hogs.
Oh, that's bad. Is that John Travolta?
Yes, Tim Allen
Yeah, oh,
and
That's bad.
she was awesome in The Wrestler. I thought she was great in that.
yes.
See that.
Well, I would say that
should see it.
Untamed Heart is less problematic than My Cousin Vinny. Because
yeah.
they're the same age in Untamed Heart.
See, I don't have an issue too much with age gaps, reasonable
Agreed.
age gaps, because Lou is gonna jump on that. Like,
No,
will
I'm
you?
with you too.
No.
actually.
He's gonna say, so you'll have a 7 and a, like, I know
No,
you, Lou.
I'm not gonna say that.
I know you, Lou.
I know what you mean, and
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah, like I honestly don't have. I know for a lot of people that's like a sore spot where it's like, oh my god, there's so much of an age, but it's like, whatever. Like I honestly wasn't thinking of the age gap.
My aunt
too
and
much.
uncle have a 10-year age gap
Yeah.
where she's 10 years older
Yeah.
than my
Yeah.
uncle.
Well, now
It's like
add
20
17
years.
years to that age gap, and then you have My Cousin Vinny's age gap.
Okay,
they're
you're
so
making them like
cute together.
70.
Yeah, but she's 27. She's not 18.
But
Yeah.
they're so cute together, and they complement each other.
Yeah,
and she
it's like a
calls them-
father-daughter relationship. It's
They
adorable.
have the most realistic
No.
She
relationship,
is
in my opinion.
11. Wait, no, I can't do math.
I
Never mind.
sympathize with her plight.
She is 21 years younger.
See, now you just said father-daughter, and they get all sexy together. Now, you just
Yeah,
ruined
yeah,
it
you
for me.
kinda-
Then
No, now it's
why?
like-
How about this? How about this?
Why?
Their
It's a
relationship
movie.
I support Untamed Heart.
Their relationship is very realistic, and I
I like
sympathize with
cougars.
it because I too have been in my relationship with my attorney boyfriend for 9 years.
And he's 27 years
Cougar
older?
No!
Pesci.
No, but he's like when I win my first case, and
Like-
I think Brian has
Wait,
maybe won his first case already, but we're still working on that. But he's
wait,
like,
when he wins his first case, what?
in My Cousin Vinny, she's like, it's
Oh.
been 9 years. And she's like, my biological clock is ticking and all this stuff. And she's like, when are we going to get married?
When are we gonna have a baby?
She's like, I'm not getting any younger. And all this stuff. And I'm over here like, I get it.
Well, according
I get
to
it.
Joe,
I get it. We've been together 9
and
years.
Ben,
They've been together
she's-
9 years.
I was just coming out with a number.
No, I meant Ben.
That's
I meant
all I
Ben.
did.
Sorry.
It's also
No,
the
but
90s. So standards are
so
different.
so you think Untamed Heart is less problematic, just because of the age gap? That's the only
What's the
thing
age
that
gap in
bothers-
Untamed
I
Heart?
mean, in total unserious conversation during Caffeinated Librarians, yes, I do think it's less problematic. In real life, I don't
Probably
think
just-
breaking into someone's house and however you keep them asleep all night while you set a tree up in their room and decorate it. Yeah, there's probably more to that story.
Also, how does he do that? It's kind of impressive.
But I think that's the element of the fairy tale, because like I know this is completely related to My Cousin Vinny, but like I've had this conversation with my sister because we both enjoy the film. So a lot of people have spoken about it because the fact that like he watches her without, basically you find out that he has been in love with her for a very long time, but he's very kind of socially awkward,
No
introverted,
kidding.
and he works in like, he's a dishwasher in the cafe where she works. So something happens. It's a very sort of traumatic scene. Mr. Tomei does a fantastic job. He saves her life, and that's what sort of brings him into her orbit, where she starts to actually notice him for the first time, and she starts to get to know him. And he's very much a child in a grown man's body. He has this innocence that, in spite of the world around him, is, I think that's also what makes her fall in love with him, because at first she's like, you can't be real, you can't be
He's funny.
serious. Yeah.
I haven't seen this movie, but I think
Lawyers
it
need a
would
lot
be
of love.
cooler if he was Pee Wee Herman.
That was who was almost cast.
No, I'm just saying, the child in a grown man's body. I
But
think
not
Pee Wee
creepy,
Herman
like,
would've-
no, not-
would have killed it.
No, Pee Wee Herman's too creepy. It's more of like
He was
his
like-
innocence.
Yeah.
I should have picked Pee Wee's Big Adventure for this. That movie rules.
He's basically,
I love that
he's
movie.
kind of like a Tarzan.
Whoa, Amanda.
It's one of
Yeah.
He's a bit of a Tarzan. He's like
He is.
super strong.
so funny.
He's like kind of
I
like
almost picked it for my
just like
pick.
quiet badass. He can catch a hockey puck with
But
his
I-
bare hand. Things
But-
like that.
Yeah,
like,
but I think it's
yeah.
supposed to be, that's the element, I think, of the fairy tale nature of the story. You know, because certain things, you sort of ignore certain behaviors that might be off-putting. Like, you know, that he came into her home. Like, even she says, I don't want to know how you broke into my home, but
Oh, she
thank
knows he
you.
did it?
Yeah, she was like, thank you. And I'm like, okay, realistically, when you know, whatever. So,
Does
but
she know right when the tree shows up there that he did it?
she smells it, like she gets very excited, and then the next day she says, thank you for the tree. I don't even want to know how you got into my house. And he says, you're welcome. So but I watch it and I think, oh my god, that is so romantic.
For some
So-
reason,
He showed up with
when
the
you're
tree.
describing this movie, I'm picturing the guy, and I know what Christian Slater looks like, but I'm still picturing the guy. I'm picturing Robin Williams from 1 Hour Photo.
Aw, Ethan
No,
Gilliam.
it's-
That's what I'm picturing.
Oh yeah, we need a
That was his
resurgence
choice.
of '90s thrillers where an outsider becomes
Okay,
obsessed
if
with.
there
the
are enough
family.
copies of this,
Oh,
I'll
I
change
love
my
those
pick
stories.
and we'll
Right?
watch this.
Let's get the
best
hand that rocks the
romances.
cradle going.
Those are like some of the best stories I read online. Are just like someone's like an over like fanatic, and the person doesn't know, but they're like,
I never saw Cape Fear.
Oh,
Either version.
I've never actually
There's more
seen
than
it
one version.
either.
There's a Scorsese version and there's an original version.
Yeah, it came out in the
I've only
40s.
seen the Scorsese.
And Mitchum plays the villain in the 40s one, and in this one he's like, I forget what Mitchum is in this.
So basically, Robert De Niro,
De Niro?
and Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
That's the My Cousin Vinny relationship, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh no. No.
Yeah. That's what's going on behind closed doors.
Oh God, I hope no. That changes everything. No, they can't be like that.
You should see Cape Fear.
and
you
they
know?
will.
It's a heartwarming movie. I don't think of them in the same way. No.
Sometimes at Jacob Burns Film Center before movies start, they show the clip of De Niro in the theater,
Just
smoking
laughing and smoking,
and
yeah.
they're like, "Don't be like this."
Yeah.
Stop it.
Did you to talk about, I don't know, since Ron like De Niro, Ron Scorsese, all because of Joe Pesci and My Cousin Vinny, we have an unbelievable like year ahead of us for big movies coming out. We have a Nolan film, we
Yes.
have a Scorsese film, and we
Yes.
have a Ridley Scott film, and they're all dropping before Christmas.
What is the Ridley Scott?
Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Oh, that's right.
Joaquin
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they haven't worked together since.
And we have a Greta
He
Gerwig
looks
film.
like he's on drugs all the time.
Yeah, and apparently it's awesome. From
Well.
You know, I'm very excited to see it. I am going into it with a little trepidation though, just because I have no idea what it's about. But I'm very excited to see it.
The Scorsese.
Barbie.
No, Barbie. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh,
legitimately.
Barbie
no-
coming to real world.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's essentially she comes to our world.
She becomes sentient.
Yeah, like her feet, actually her heels touch the
She
ground.
becomes self-aware.
Because I haven't seen a clip of Barbie in the real world yet.
It's in the
It's in the
trailer.
It's in the trailer. You
But if
see,
you're not
like,
watching the trailers, you're not.
She's
seeing
like, why is
it.
everybody
Will
looking
Ferrell's
at
there.
us?
She meets Will
Yeah.
Ferrell.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I saw
And
that.
America
Yeah.
Ferrera.
I saw that they just put out Ken's song
Yeah, I watched
online.
that. But
I died.
I'm saving myself. For
I
that.
died.
Yeah. Also, I haven't really watched many trailers for it because I do want to go into it with less. Like
Outside
I feel like I've
influence.
seen so many Oppenheimer trailers just because like I'm always looking.
But the
at
Oppenheimer trailers are just guys looking severely at each other. Like,
Yeah.
like there's nothing in them.
and a noise going.
This is the most important thing in the history of the world.
Oh my god.
What a sentence!
Yeah,
I wish I had something that important.
and it's not wrong.
Yeah,
Like
right. Yeah.
the two. I mean, what is it? The nuclear bomb and the personal computer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Whenever they show the Albert Einstein in the trailers,
Love
I like
it.
point at the screen. I'm like, look.
He's in it.
He's the blind guy in
Yeah.
Dunkirk, right?
Wow.
He's the blind guy in Dunkirk at the end. He's like, well done, well done. You want a blanket? Well done. That's
that
that's
him?
Einstein, right? In this movie. He's like one of those Christopher Nolan people that show up in all Christopher
Oh,
Nolan's
it might
movies.
be.
and-
Yeah. Wow.
Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid's there.
In Oppenheimer?
or
Yeah,
Barbie.
in Oppenheimer. I just saw a clip yesterday of Christopher Nolan in an interview. Someone rings it up and he says, Roderick rules.
That's great.
Why is Ken ditzy though in the Barbie movie? Like, is Ken supposed to be
Ken is
ditzy?
Oh,
So
yeah.
Ken has just
I mean,
always
is
been.
Ken supposed to be smart?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I've never thought of. I don't know. He's just there. Like, I was just,
Exactly.
always
That's
been
it.
story. That was
According
always-
to Ryan Gosling himself, the
Ken
Ryan
was
Gosling
always-
suffered a brain injury on set. I
don't know
think.
if
he
you-
hasn't
I-
been talking right.
Oh, really?
He's been like, they're kenning all over. They're kenning everywhere. They're gonna ken themselves blind.
I feel
he
like
doesn't know what to say.
I feel like as a
was
public
like
figure, Ryan Gosling is at the point now where he's been so hilarious with Russell Crowe promoting Nice Guys. He's been hilarious with Harrison Ford promoting Blade
why
Runner.
he's always just
That now he
been there.
has to top himself,
Yeah.
and he's trying to figure out how to do it as solo Ken with the
Just
Barbie
like
promotion.
Cool boyfriend that Barbie had.
oh, well, that's Barbie.
You what?
Nothing.
You don't like Barbie?
I was talking about Ken. It's like Ken. It's not Ken that. It's like not that Ken's dumb. He's just always been like.
No, I mean I knew
like
that Ken
second.
didn't have a
That's
role
all he is.
outside of Barbie's significant other, but I didn't know that.
Not anymore. They broke up years ago.
Oh, okay.
She found a new man. Yeah.
Who's her new man?
She has a couple of new choices.
It's funny that Mary Jane has not been with Peter Parker for like ages now, and actually has kids with someone else. Yeah, but Peter Parker's still in love with her.
Barbara Millicent
they just-
Roberts.
Crazy. Sad.
That's dark.
Oh yeah, I remember
Barbie-
they killed Miss
Barbie
Marvel in
is
the
short
comics
for Barbara.
recently,
I
and
didn't
they
know
had
that.
Mary Jane's husband there for
Yeah.
some reason. It was like, why is this guy there?
Yeah, it must be some like multiverse thing, and I don't know. But she's like, I'm not leaving my children or my husband. Says it to Peter. And I was like, this is upsetting stuff. I have to say, I appreciate your deep, personal selection today, and how it led to us talking about what really matters to you in Untamed Heart, and that
Yeah.
probably wasn't funny enough for you to be your pick today. But I look forward to watching that.
I like that.
I saw
this-
it was originally supposed to be called the Baboon Heart.
Oh yes,
The what?
the baboon heart. You find out why. I don't want to.
Baboon?
Baboon.
Yeah,
Baboon.
like
It's-
Baboon.
Yeah, you find out why. Don't spoil
Oh, you
it.
said
It's,
baboon
it's
heart.
part of his.
Baboon.
That's why I'm saying it's part of his psyche and the whole.
Is he a baboon in real life?
No,
He transformed.
I thought maybe like a Transformers.
no, no. If there are enough
Kisses
copies,
him and
I'll
then all of a
switch my
sudden-
pick to that. If there are enough
There's
copies.
no way there's copies of that.
But also, we can
Must
just
you be a
find
negative
it.
It's
Nancy?
on Tubi.
Yeah, it's on
Tubi
and
right
Freevee,
now.
and you just watch it with commercials. Or if you like me, you already own it.
I do own it.
I've never heard of this movie before.
Oh, it's
I've
going to be
never
such a treat.
heard of this movie
Save
either.
any spoilers for yourself. It's
Well,
going
okay,
to be
what's the
wonderful.
soundtrack like? Is it
Suzanne
synthy?
Vega.
Okay. If there's synth pop in this movie, it gets like an extra 5 points
pop?
from me.
Synth pop?
But what's crazy, it opens up in like a...
War.
Not to spoil it, but it opens... It's a little tonally... It shifts
Break it
a little
down.
bit. It opens up in like
Nazi Germany.
an orphanage that might as well look like... It looks like it's in Nazi Germany, but
really?
it's like somewhere, whatever, in the area.
But
like,
that's the fairy tale. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
grounded in like a fairy tale-esque kind of world. So yes, you have the real world, but you have to suspend your disbelief like majorly throughout this film and how relationships can actually
Nice.
be. But
like, I think when I saw that movie when I was like 11, and my brain was just programmed that I would be in love with that character that Marissa Tomei played for the rest of my life. And there was just...
Aw.
She's like that was for whatever it never changed like that. She's not that she's so different from how she acts in most of her movies, but there's just like this jubilance to her character that like, is that a word?
Yes.
Jubilant?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just her and Ariana Richards in Jurassic Park, I think, were the two people when I was a child. I just like would go to bed crying because I just couldn't be their boyfriend.
I
But
wanted
yeah.
to actually look as pretty as she does in that film. Like that was like my thing. Like she looks just so pretty in the film.
I need to apologize and correct myself. I said Mr. Deeds before. I'm pretty sure she was the anger manager.
Anger management.
Yeah.
Right. Mr. Deeds was Winona Ryder,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So
But
Adam
it
Sandler.
just popped in my head, and I was like, wait a minute, she wasn't in that.
Adam Sandler just had a cottage industry in the 2000s of, can I kiss pretty women? Will they let me do that?
he's still doing it though. He basically has like the baddest Netflix contract around. Like it's just he gets to make his movies, and what is it? He's with Jennifer Aniston in the
Murder mystery.
which
yeah.
you can't deny their chemistry.
No, they're
Yeah.
they're great together. Yeah.
Yeah. There was that
Just
one
like
movie,
Marissa Tomei and Joe Pesci.
right?
You can't deny that chemistry. They are great together.
Yeah, as a parent and child.
Do you
I agree.
really think so? Okay,
I didn't think that
wanna
until
I
you said
really.
I
You
want
gotta
to
think about them
delve
as
into
actors.
this.
You gotta think about the characters.
I
You
wanna
gotta
delve
think
into-
about the character.
No, but I want to delve into this a bit more because I can see that this is
They didn't
the
even do anything.
You know.
this is your flag being planted. Like what
They
is?
didn't even really do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, they-
I know because they probably would have been arrested.
Oh my god!
You
Not in
know,
Alabama.
she has a stunt double.
Take that, Alabama viewer.
The real chemistry is between Adam Sandler and Al Pacino in Jack and Jill.
Oh my god.
Once again,
Never seen that.
horrendous age
so,
gap.
So Al Pacino is in it, playing himself, and the
Like he
crux
does
of his
everything?
character is that he is madly in love with the female Adam Sandler.
Right, that's his sister, right?
Yeah, he has never been this attracted to anyone before.
You know,
And he
to
Pacino's
each their
it up.
own. To each their own.
Bro commits. You gotta give him that. I don't know what. I think Adam Sandler maybe had blackmail on him. I think he had like the missing 20 minutes of cruising, and he was like, "Ow, you're gonna be in this movie."
You know, actors need to eat too. It was just a
Oh man.
So I think I said before the podcast, My Cousin Vinny is an opposite culture shock for me, watching New Yorkers come down to the South and being upset with food and
The lack of
mud
Chinese restaurants.
and all sorts of things.
Amanda was watching it like they should get beaten up.
They should.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a problem with this movie.
To be fair, they were really mean to the guy. They were like talking. Their car got broken down the first couple scenes in the movie, and he was talking about the mud and tires. She mentioned she's like, "There's mud in the tires," and the nice gentleman comes up. He's like, "Oh, I think you got mud in your tire." He was such a nice guy, and I would have normally have been like, "Yeah, we were thinking that might have been the problem," or something like kind of nice, like, you know, "Do you know any good shops around here that can maybe help myself?" No, he was kind of mean to him. He was kind of a jackass, and I'm like, he deserves to get beaten up. I was like, you know what? You go to first off, they're in Alabama in the rural area, not so much like the suburban area where I'm used to, but they were like in like, and you're gonna have to like cut this out, like Bumble, nowhere.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. You just kind of told him.
No,
and
it's like in Seinfeld when they go to New England and they cannot comprehend the concept of helping anyone. So
You're right, and then he
he's
talks
just
about
like,
the
why
cholesterol.
is this guy talking to me? Like,
he talks about the cholesterol. He's like, he sees the lard. To be fair, that's a lot of lard.
I'm sure it
But
was
you
delicious.
also, I worked in a deli where that was like
Ro
use
is
bacon
Italian.
fat
Who
to
is
like,
he to
like
talk?
grease up the use
griddle.
bacon
he's going
fat
home
to
and
grease
eating
it up. Yeah.
gabagool
You know
straight
what?
from the
Gabagool.
wrapper. Like,
I had never heard of that stuff until moving here, like baba ganoush. I thought it was a cartoon food because you hear it in like cartoons with like some
like
of that baba
eggplant
ganoush, and I was
Yeah.
like I heard it in Cursed Cowardly Dog. They talked about it, and I was like, that's a thing.
You know what this kind of reminded me of?
It is,
Rock
Amanda.
eats it. Yeah.
This kind of reminded me of, in a lot of ways, my same problem I have with Green Book. Is like, yes, it's like this kind of like blowhard cartoon character Italian dude who like is really disdainful of the place he's at, but then eventually starts to get along, but never sees the people as any different, never realizes he's wrong about his opinions, just is like, yeah, well, you know, I got along with them even though...
Like he made fun of the grits, but that barbecue looked okay. That wasn't the best barbecue I've ever seen. The sounds that he found annoying, I
grits.
don't
Grits are
mind.
good.
Grits are great. To be fair, his plate lacked color. They could have added some like small flapjacks on there or something like that. No, put some
I'm gonna go
pancakes.
eat something.
Put some toast on there or something. But then there was like the noises. The noises were the funniest parts because he's annoyed by noises that will like kind of come and go, and then that's it. You go back to bed or whatever.
The
But
owl was hysterical.
The owl was really funny because I'm like,
Good
that's
comedy.
not even that bad of a problem. And it's in the middle of the night, so you should already be asleep.
But
I
also,
thought that was adorable.
but also, there are owls in New York.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something he
There's
should.
pigeons.
There's owls.
Yeah, but there's
There
owls.
are when we moved to Manhattan for like college and stuff, like when he was going through like when my boyfriend was going through like law school, it was like we were right on Union Square, so you have police sirens.
And you're gonna see pigeons galore.
And no, you hear chirping at like midnight, and we're like, it's because the birds have been acclimated to city life that they just stay up. And you hear them chirping. I'm like, are those birds
It is
chirping?
the city that never sleeps.
It
is.
really is. There's like
Even
no
their
one's
birds
asleep. There's
don't.
still the guy selling fruit on the corner, setting up for tomorrow. And I'm like, wow, he's not sleeping. He's
Gotta
just
make that
waiting
money.
for the next shipment. You have people coming up and down the hallway and everything. The walls are not like
Lock your door.
our door had like double locks, so we were fine. But like the noises of the city, like Brian's like, I feel so at one here, and I'm like, I hate you. I hate this. This is really annoying. You get used to it, but it's really annoying because in the South you don't have that.
No,
No one's being a butthead, at least in the suburban areas.
No, I used to love when I was in Mount Vernon because that's where I'm originally from, and you would just hear like people doing vocalizations in the middle of the
Gunshots.
night.
And,
We have neighbors who like blast
That would happen.
blast music across the street in Queens, and I'm just like, go to bed.
Yeah.
It's like I'm
singing
like
while
that's
they're
even
walking
like
at night.
for me to tell you to go to bed is a problem. I'm up at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, go to
the
bed.
sound of stealing hubcaps in the middle of the night.
You hear people who want to race down like New York needs more like racetracks because there's too many people trying to speed on the like these tiny little streets, and they're like, I got this sports car, let's go.
Also, why do you have a sports car in New York City?
Why do you have a sport? I have a garage next to a guy who has like 4 cars, and every day he sits out the window, like it's outside my window, and my lights flicker because he has like his pressure washer going and cleaning. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why can't you do that like a Saturday?
I had a short stint in London some time ago, and there was like this really wealthy dude in like the Kensington area who was just, he had like 3 gold-plated Bugattis, and all he was doing was like getting in one, driving around the block, getting out of it, getting in the other one, driving around the block, and this was like, I don't know, like a mating call or something. I have no idea.
It's a New York
But it's just like the kind of money where you're just confused at how wealthy you are, I guess, because...
You don't know what to do with it. You
Yeah.
have so much money, you
Did
don't
you
know
offer
what
to
to
take
do
one
with
of the
it.
cars off his hand? Like, just
No.
like take it from us now.
No.
I've been
I
waiting
just-
for
I
my
was-
neighbor to offer
That's just
us
like
to clean.
it confuses
my
me
car.
when I see that. I'm like, this is. I feel kind of bad for this person, but at the same time, is like, what are you doing? And I'm asking like, what kind? Like, where does this guy go? What club is he going to that he needs? Like, and
So
the
he-
answer was, they don't go to clubs. They own their own like penthouse apartments in this area, and they throw the parties.
Yeah.
And it's like globe. Yeah. Anyway, another
So-
day.
Get on my good
He
side.
could
Invite
actually
me.
say he woke up in a new Bugatti.
He woke up
Is that a
in
song?
new Bugatti.
Who sings it?
I don't know who sings it.
I don't know. I just know the meme. Because there's a
There's
meme where
a
anytime
song?
someone's like driving a car, like a
I
kid
woke
in like
up
a
in
Barbie
a
car,
new
it's like, I
Bugatti.
woke up in
Yeah.
a new Bugatti. I love those memes so much.
Ace Hood, but Rick Ross and Future on it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but anyways, the culture
The
shock
fact
for
I was like, how does he
deep
know that?
Brooklyn
And then I saw that you
people.
actually looked
coming to
something
this,
up.
I was very. Like, I remember
for the first
Brian
time.
came with me to North Carolina, and his first thoughts were he thought I lived in like Stranger
Boondocks?
Things, little town, kind of like this whole thing. He thought I had like 20 people in my high school attending, and I was like, no, I live in like a nice suburban
Yeah, that's true.
area where Oprah has one of her houses.
But there are cities in the South. Like, I'm sure people realize the South has cities,
They don't.
right? You know,
They
it's,
don't.
I don't know.
They have cities.
I mean,
But
I've
they're
passed
I'm
not
through-
looking at the camera right now. I'm eyeing.
I've passed through Little Rock. Little Rock is
Little city.
Well, they think that like Georgia
it's
is
like, I don't even know it's as big as White Plains.
Yeah.
But it's still a,
Well, people understand
have
North Carolina,
cities.
like where I'm from, that Charlotte and Raleigh are like the big areas because those are the big city areas. But Winston-Salem, where I'm from, has its own like really pretty artsy city. Like they're a huge arts district. And they have like tons of really cute cafes. They have this like gothic shop that's really nice too. This cool little antique thrift shop. Super neat.
Caffeinated Librarians on the road.
Go to my
All right.
home. Let's go.
Let's keep talking about this, but I think why don't you roll us out?
yeah, sure. We'll do.
South has cities.
South has cities, you have been told. So thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed this discussion. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.